Who was right when it came down to the Montreal situation?
No one will ever know. Some people say to this day it's a work. I don't believe it.
I was going to ask you, what are your memories of backstage afterwards?
I don't. You see, everybody says, well, apparently Brett punched Vince in the face and he walked out. They videoed the whole thing. And not the punch, but Vince coming out and he had no marks on his face. And I asked Brett, I said, Brett, be honest. He goes, I swear on my children, it was not a work. But to this day, many wrestlers still tell me, oh, it was a work because you made Vince the hottest heel in the country and he gave Brett a great spot in WCW.
Was everyone shocked that Vince was hit by Brett?
Everybody was shocked, yeah. Shocked that he was hit by Brett and didn't have one mark on his face.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I believe it was true. I don't. A lot of people don't.
How did WWE change behind the scenes once Brett left for WCW?
I don't think they miss a beat. They don't miss a beat with anybody. Even when Hogan leaves, for some reason, nobody's bigger than the company.
Getting back to your career, we start to see a pattern here with a lot of talents who debut for the company, including The Rock and Bob Holly, are given to you to have their first matches in the company. Talk about what you were looking for them in new talents and when you're given this responsibility.
It's funny, like right now, I got a very good eye for spotting talent. Like when I'm in the ring with a guy, I could lock up with him and I could feel him. I could feel if he's the way he feels, his instincts. When we get pushed to a rope, how he acts. We push me to a corner, how does he react to that? I could feel that. And I would look for that. And I could always say, well, this guy will go, he'll be mid-card. This guy will be mid-card. I could always tell. To this day I could tell because now I'm running Michigan and I'm getting all these new guys. And I'm looking at these guys and I'm saying, I see money in this guy. But the guy who owns the company doesn't see the money in him. But I do. And I was in a battle royal with him, and when I got in a battle royal with him, I felt the chemistry. It's a very weird thing. It's like you have a sixth sense. You develop it. Some people in business 40 years they never develop it. I have it. I feel I have it. I feel I could tell if a talent can make money or not, and if a talent has talent or not.
Were you ever wrong about it? Did you ever get in the ring with somebody and be, this guy's gonna?
Well, I was wrong about it in the fact that. If I told Vince that I felt someone was a ringer, he give him the push, but that they didn't work out later, I'm wrong about it that business-wise they didn't work out.
Right.
So I wasn't wrong about that they didn't have potential because they were never given that opportunity to go that far.
Memories working with The Rock when he first came in.
The Rock, Corpus Christi, Texas, 1996. He just tweeted it out not the other day, about 3 months ago.
Right.
And he goes, the WWE legend, and I had my first match in front of 15,000 strong. This is how it was. I had The Rock's father's first match too, Rocky Johnson. And Rock was like a little skinny kid, like playing. It wasn't on Nintendo or nothing, but he was like playing with his little toys in the dressing room. He was a skinny kid with an afro. You never would foresee him becoming what he became. So then later on, as he gets older, he's playing football. You know, he dropped off the face of the earth because nobody follows football, follows wrestling. So then I get the call. We got Dwayne Johnson coming in, and we want you to have his very first match. And then I fly into Corpus Christi. He's already there, and he's in his hotel. So I go to his hotel, and I look at him. And first thing out of my mind was, and I say this in every interview, Jock. You know what I mean? One of those guys that great football player will never make it in wrestling because he was big, he was bulky. He's not like he looks today.
Right.
But so then we go to the arena. That was a good crowd, like 10, 12,000 people. He says 15, but I remember I said, can you do this? Can you leapfrog? Can you do that? Can you do this? And he goes, yeah. Then I read his book and he goes, yeah, when Steve told me all these spots, he goes, I said, yeah. Then I went in the corner, I wrote them all down on a napkin. You know, he was really nervous about it.
Yeah.
But then we get in the ring, and he's hitting everything. Double leapfrogs, hip toss me, boom, duck this, duck that. He's hitting everything really good. He got his contract that night.
Wow.
We went to dinner that night, and he goes, I'm not happy. I said, what do you mean you're not happy? He goes, I want more. I said, you better shut your fucking mouth. I said, you got $7 to your name right now. They give you a contract. I said, now you're going to tell me you're not happy. They say, fuck you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And he goes, I talked to him about that too. He said the figure was different, but he said they wanted me in WCW. I didn't want you in WCW. I didn't even know who you were yet.
Right.
But he was a trip, man. I'm telling you, he was. At first, they hated him. Rocky sucks. Because they said, listen, we're gonna make him Rocky Maivia, his dad's name and his grandfather's name, and you know he goes out right away and they reject him like they do like with Roman Reigns sometimes now.
Yes.
They reject. You can't push somebody down somebody's throat. They start pushing him. Rocky sucks. Rocky sucks. He comes back. He goes, I don't know why they're doing this. It was really bothering him. And then he starts reinventing himself. And I'll never forget that they were doing a Nation of Domination. And I was working, by that time I was doing interviews. I was wrestling plus doing all the pre-tape boom, and I was booming all of them. And I would boom like Ron Simmons, then I would boom this guy, and then I would go to Rock, and Rock had that special spark in the way he talked. And then I could see that he had it. So the big turnaround moment with Rock was when he walked out to the ring and he said, all you people, when I come out, all I hear is Rocky sucks, Rocky sucks. You know what I got to say to you? It doesn't matter what you think. Now, we love you, we love you. It like reversed it. Yeah. Tell the people to go to hell and they'll love you.
Do you think it is a case of the company respects you to the point that they trust you to evaluate and test the talents back then?
Back then they did.
Yeah.
Well, they would judge it themselves. They would watch me wrestle the guy, and they would. I didn't have to go. Yeah, he's got it, because they could see he's got it or he don't have it.
When Major League Baseball, I guess, had their shutdown in '94, knuckleball shorts came back, and I guess it was a way to return and mock the situation. Did you think this was going to get you a new push, or was it just a way for the company to play off the angry emotions of baseball fans?
No, actually, I came up with the gimmick before the strike even happened, and then Vince was like had it like you know in his mind and all this, and then when the strike came out, he goes, "How good is this? The strike!" Yeah. So then it definitely accelerated it.
What was the backstory of you presenting the Steve Lombardi Trophy on the Raw Bowl in '96?
Oh yeah, because when we said that we're going to present the Lombardi Trophy, the NFL thought they had a hell of a lawsuit against Vince, but by putting my picture on it and calling this the Lombardi Trophy, my name is legitimately Lombardi, so they don't have a leg to stand on.
Right.
But I think that I don't know, because I was never told this, but I think the whole time, the whole Raw, we said tonight, WWE, it was WWF back then, will be giving out the Lombardi Trophy. It was called the Raw Bowl. You know, the NFL. Yeah. The NFL was going like this. You know what I mean? Because if they actually showed a trophy that symbolized it, they could hit them with a multi-million-dollar lawsuit. But then when they see my face on the top, it's the Lombardi Trophy. Well, they do have a Lombardi there.
Talk about the night you won the WWF title shot during a battle royal at MSG.
Oh my God, it was a house show, Madison Square Garden. It was a battle royal, and Ken Shamrock was supposed to go over. Ken Shamrock hurts his sternum, his chest, like he fractured his sternum. So the agents, now they call them producers. 10 years from now, we'll probably call them something else. But anyway, they go, Shamrock can't wrestle. He's hurt, Vince. He's hurt. Vince is just, I was kind of like listening from the outside.
Right.
And then Vince is like working on papers and stuff, and he just he always puts his glasses down at the tip of his nose. Put Brooklyn Brawler over, he's local. Not knowing and not remembering that he advertised the winner of the Battle Royal wrestles the world champion at the next Garden show.
And you knew this, you just don't want to say anything.
I knew it. Who would say something?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't think Vince would say something if he was in that, if he did that. So then I come back and I tell all the agents, Jack Lanza and all these guys, I said, well, you're not going to get your match. You're not going to get your match. I said, well, I'm certainly going to go to Vince. I go, Vince, if I didn't know, I says, I can't believe this. I go, you advertised the winner of the Battle Royal is wrestles the world champion in the next show. He just looks at me and he goes, you got your match. You know, he always does it with that little bit of, hey, son, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then I had the match, and I was supposed to wrestle Brett. And then the Montreal screw job happened. But Brett, if you talk to Brett, if you ever interviewed Brett, did you ever interview Brett?
3 times, yeah.
Ask him about that. Brett told Vince, I will put Brooklyn Brawler over for the title, but I won't put Shawn over, because he was that adamant about it. And he told me that if it did happen before the Montreal screw job, he wasn't going to kick out. Wow. And I said, I'm going to get in trouble. You know what's going to happen? I'll be covering him, and then he won't kick out, and then they'll say, hey, no. Well, Vince would he'd fire me right there.
Oh, yeah.
Even though it's not my fault. I would have to throw my body off of Brett, and they would say, that looks stupid, you know? But then the Montreal screw job happens, and then Shawn Michaels now has to take that part and wrestle me. But Shawn wasn't the Shawn he was of today. He was the guy who was like the rebel.
Yeah. What was Shawn's attitude about working you at MSG?
When they went up to Shawn, a couple of the producers, and they said, well, apparently Lombardi won a Battle Royal in MSG, and then the winner of the Battle Royal wrestles the world champion. Shawn, how do you feel about this? And he, like a little kid, he goes, can you super kick? Can you leapfrog? Can you do this? Can you do that? I'll do anything you want.
Right.
And that match turned out unbelievable.
So he's all business.
It was the first day of DX. We had China and Triple H there. It was like Shawn would do that thing. I'd rock him on the ropes. He'd come, I'd clothesline him. I'd turn around. I knocked Triple H off the apron. China would come in. She'd give me a Frankenstein. It was like great, man. It was like my whole family was there. It was sold out.
Whose idea was it for you to come out to New York that night?
The office did it.
The office did it.
They do it on their own.
Talk about your backstage responsibilities for WWE over the years and how they changed.
Well, I wrestled for 17 years full time, and then for 15 years I was a television producer. So what I would do is I would do interviews like this with celebrities, like if they did GM spots and stuff like that.
Right.
And I would do like international. I'd have a camera with a teleprompter, and I'd have them plug international markets, and I'd have them. We do little commercials. I did a LifeLock commercial with Mark Henry, and all different stuff like that. I did cold opens. That's the thing that got me the most, the cold opens, because they would say shoot Ambrose with his face darkened on one side and have him walk into the light and do this and do that. Then I go and watch the pay-per-view and I see all the cold opens. I say, I shot that, I shot this, I shot that. But the thing that bugged me the most was I was sending all the tapes back to the office. They were editing them, putting it all together and saying, here, Vince, we got it.
You know, so you get no credit.
No, zero credit. And I don't think Vince knew I did all that stuff. I don't think he knew any of it.
Talk about talk about producing and running the promos for the company. What makes a good promo?
What makes a good promo is inflection. It's convincing through your eyes. You look at someone's eyes, you can tell if they're full of shit or they're telling the truth. Inflection, like I always say, if The Rock said, if you smell what The Rock is cooking, or if you smell what The Rock is cooking, it's got to be a roller coaster like that. And you got to know when to take the dip and when to take the raise. It's an art. It's I think harder than wrestling.
Who were the most natural at cutting promos when they were trying to get into the company?
Oh, Cena. Cena was really a natural. Rock wasn't at first. Kennedy was very good. MVP was very good. There was a few ringers.
Was there ever anyone who impressed you in their promo skills that were you surprised didn't get a job?
No, because everyone that impressed me in the promo skills did get a chance, even if they didn't last.
Talk about working with Harvey Whippleman, Bruno, behind the scenes.
Oh, I traveled with Bruno for over 20 years. He's a good guy. He was a driver. He loves to drive. He would drive like 12 hours instead of flying 1 hour. You know, because he's.
Did he not like flying, or?
He got traumatized. One time we were on a red eye from like L.A. to New York or something like that, and the plane had such bad turbulence where all the oxygen masks fell, and it was scary.
So he had an anxiety attack on
anxiety. We thought we were going to die. And then it wasn't just like your normal, like it was like boom, boom. All the overheads opened, bags were flying out, and so he got traumatized by airplanes. I don't like to drive. I'm sick of driving.
Yeah.
He loves to drive, even though he was in a traumatic car wreck with Gorilla Monsoon's son, and his son got killed. Remember Joey Morella?
Yeah, Joey.
Yeah, he was in the car with Joey Morella. Joey goes, "Go to sleep, Bruno, and I'll wake you up if I need you to take over." So Bruno puts his seat all the way back, and then Joey falls asleep behind the wheel, goes off of exit 5 at the Jersey Turnpike, goes through trees. The car flips like 5 times. Joey's like almost decapitated, and then the car's sideways, and he had a seatbelt on, and Bruno's on the bottom side. He had to climb over Joey's body and go out the window, and he's not scared to drive, but
that's crazy.
Yeah, he loves to drive.
Do you think he gets the respect that he deserves for what he does for the company?
Bruno?
Yeah.
No. He does everything. He's like the go-to guy to get anything done.
Right. What are the biggest misconceptions about WWE by people who are criticizing the company or reporting on it?
Like, give me an example.
Oh, the sheets, websites.
I think all bitter. I think the people that knock the company are bitter people. I don't have any bitterness in me at all.
Now, you're working behind the scenes, doing promos. Were you at wrestling at the same time at all, or being on the road?
Occasionally. Like, Vince threw me in a 6-man at Barclays Center in 2012 because it was our first show at the Barclays Center. So I was actually doing promos and stuff like that, and then he threw me in there, and then he puts me over.
Right.
And then little things. It would always be like cameos, stuff like that.
Memories of Randy Savage.
Oh, yeah. I love Randy Savage. He was a great guy. I wrestled him like once or twice, and he... one time I was when I first started out in the business, I used to put stuff on the back of my wrestling tights and said, "I'm coming up," and I'm, with all these different little sayings. And Savage, "Oh yeah, brother, I like what you're doing." He goes, "I like that you got some kind of interest into you. You're using creativity." He was doing that to me. And I'm like, "Holy shit, man, this is great."
What about Elizabeth?
Elizabeth was a sweetheart. Randy was high strung. You know what I mean? They were like complete opposites.
We've done a lot of interviews with guys, and they said that at times that he would lock her in dressing room closets and stuff like that.
Not true.
Not true at all?
Not true.
Do you believe the Randy Savage Stephanie rumors to be true?
No.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
Okay. Why do you think the company never brought him back?
Well, I think it was his choice. He double-crossed Vince, and he was supposed to be on Raw, and then he winds up on Nitro the same night. You know what I mean? Would you bring him back?
You think that was what the heat stems from?
Yeah, it was. He created the heat.
Okay. Thoughts on the Monday Night War?
I think the Monday Night Wars were great. Competition always makes the product better, and they were kicking our ass for a long time.
Did you see the tension behind the scenes?
Well, they used to have Howard sitting by the trucks outside looking at the Nitro and reporting everything that happened, and then like Erica was doing things like giving our finishes because we weren't live, but that's where the problem came, where they did away with enhancement guys and all that stuff. That was the best way to do it.
Once Nitro began taking control of the ratings, how did things change behind the scenes for WWF?
Well, they cut the budget. Vince had like little meetings, and he says, "Well, I don't own a network like Ted Turner, and I don't have endless pockets like Ted Turner, and this and that." But then what did we do? We went Attitude Era, I believe.
Yeah, I was going to ask you. Decision was now made to go full blown with the Attitude Era. Thoughts on the era of the company?
Oh, the Attitude Era was great. That's when we started booming, and Turner couldn't do it because his station wouldn't allow that.
Right.
So we had him.
Before the Attitude Era became part of the mix, how did people within WWE look upon ECW?
ECW was like a cult following. ECW was like, I'm not going to say minor leagues, but like almost like it wasn't respected like it is today.
ECW came into work a couple shows for Vince. They did the Raw in Manhattan Center. What are your memories of those nights at some of the
Didn't
guys?
they just sit in the first row or something like that?
No.
Sandman and a couple other guys?
Well, that was the angle they did, but they also did a couple matches when Paul was doing Barely Legal. They had Little Guido wrestled Stevie Richards.
Oh, yeah, I remember
I
was supposed to cut promos with all those guys, and then like Sabu said to me, Paulie said, "Don't do anything for you guys." Paulie was playing like a...
Right.
Paul was playing like a little bit... Paul said he never said that.
Right.
But
he probably did.
Yeah, probably did.
Yeah. Memories of working with Steve Austin and what he brought to the table.
The only things I did with Steve Austin was cameos in the back. I didn't actually have a match with him. Steve Austin was huge. I loved the idea that Goldberg was in WCW and Steve Austin was in our company.
Yeah.
And Steve Austin could work circles around Goldberg.
What was he like outside the ring?
Very, not edgy, but not, put it this way, if I asked him to do a promo, once in a while he'd blow me off, but he was a nice guy, but just a loner. Always on his own, you know what I mean? Always outspoken. Like one time he called Vince and he says, "I quit," or something like that.
Right.
And then when he was the ringmaster, he hated it, and until he came up with that Stone Cold deal. But I mean, I tell you, he was a working machine.
When you ask guys to do promos and they blow you off, was that for? It wasn't obvious for TV. It was for other spots and stuff.
It's not that they don't blow me off. They go, "Okay, I'll try to get to it later." Because a lot of guys don't realize the value of it.
It's TV time. Exposure.
It's insane. Other guys like Miz, Cena, they would always come right in. You know what I mean? Other guys I could never get in. You know, I don't want to even say the guys that I wouldn't get in, but like I even told Jericho that, and Jericho understood that because I gave him shit a couple of times. You know what I mean? I told Jericho, I can't go back and I can't tell these people that you don't want to do anything. I'm going to put heat on you.
Yeah.
I said I'm not like that, but most guys would do that.
Earlier on in the interview, I had you compare Bruno, Pedro, and Backlund. How would you compare Hogan, Warrior, and Austin, and what they meant to the respective eras of the company?
Hogan was one of the boys. Hogan was the first. Hogan, to me, had the biggest pop of them all in the 80s. He was huge. Austin was business. Austin probably made the most money. I would say Austin made more money than Hogan, but I think Hogan actually was more over in his era than Austin. Who was the third one?
Warrior?
Warrior was, he was over. I would say I would go Hogan, Austin, Warrior. But Warrior was over. Believe me, I'm not taking, because you give me three powerful names here.
Yeah.
So, but Warrior was over.
Remember working with The Rock on Raw in 2000?
Oh yeah, I remember that. That was awesome. That was Andy Richter's friend, Tommy. He used to be a writer, and he came up with the idea, and Rock loved it. He says because Stephanie and Hunter says, well, you got to start from the beginning again. The man you had your first match with. And then I came out in the garden. You know what I mean? I still got a pop.
That's great.
You know what I mean? But it was all right.
Memories working with Hunter, and you pinned him on Raw.
Oh no, it's SmackDown.
SmackDown. Okay.
He was business to do it. I think when he looks in hindsight right now, he wishes he never did it because it lives forever. And he was great about it. I mean, he had me and Kai Tai come in. No, it was Mankind who made me and Kai Tai come in face Hunter, and he gave them both the pedigree, and then he wanted to give it to me. But actually, Jericho came in the ring, gave him the bulldog, did the flip on him, went out. Referee's down. But when I look at the footage back, the referee's looking right at us. I see all the mistakes, you know.
Right.
But I still beat the game.
Thoughts on Hunter as a person?
Good business person.
Big politician?
No. He doesn't. When you're in his position, you don't have to be a politician.
Yeah.
No.
Did you see the potential in him early on?
Yeah, I didn't like it when he was doing that English gimmick, and he was a lot thinner, and he was a lot. Yeah, when he finally hit with DX and all that stuff, that's when I started seeing this guy's going to be a star.
What are the best things he brings as a leader for the company behind the scenes today?
That he was one of the boys.
How do you think he's grown and changed since coming to power in WWE?
I think he's becoming a mini Vince.
Without a doubt, workaholic.
Yeah.
Were you shocked when he and Stephanie became a legitimate couple?
Not really, because anything could happen. You know what I mean?
How do you feel about them one day taking over the company?
I think it's inevitable.
Yeah. How do you think they will compare to Vince or even Vince Sr. in the way they run the company?
I think it'll be different. I think it'll always be successful, but I think that the stockholders will look at it like Vince was the brains, like he was the main guy in the whole company.
What does Stephanie bring to the table as a leader?
Stephanie's brilliant. She's like Trump's daughter. You know what I mean? Like when she talks, you can just tell she's like right on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Stephanie is smart. I know Stephanie says she's like 8 years old. I watch her grow. She's just. If I had a $1 billion business, I would want Stephanie in a big position.
Thoughts on Shane McMahon returning to WWE?
Shane's crazy, man. Shane's like a different breed, you know.
Yeah.
He's like a wild man. He wants to jump off things, and I think it's great. It was good shock value. I think I wasn't crazy about him going one-on-one with Undertaker and coming so close to beating Undertaker fresh. I didn't like that. But I like the fact that he's so ballsy that he jumped off the cage. He could have legitimately killed himself right there.
Without a doubt.
No.
How shocking was it at the time when he exited the company? Were you shocked that he left?
No, because his dad probably gave him like $200 million and said, go out on your own, do your own thing. And he opened he opened a Harley business in Brooklyn, and he opened up
overseas. He was doing.
Oh, he's doing overseas, some with China or some. Yeah.
Do you think Vince picked Stephanie over Shane? And if so, why would that be the case?
I think Stephanie picked the company over Shane picking the company. I think Stephanie was more of a business. I'm not knocking Shane. Shane is, he's like I'm trying to look for the word, like a wild child. You know what I mean? Like Shane's wild. You give him the whole company, you no telling what he would do. Like he always says, I want to have WrestleMania on the moon. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's got to be certain limitations.
Do you think Vince will actually ever give up control of the company to anyone, or is he just going to die in this business?
Well, I think he's going to have no choice. He's 71 years old right now. You know, he'll be 72 in August. How long can you go?
What do you think drives Vince?
I think if Vince did not work in this business, he would die.
Obviously, he has all the money in the world. So what do you think still drives him?
I don't know, because I think I think once you get that far and you grow a company that big, you just don't want to go sit on your yacht and go down to, go hang out in Hawaii. I don't know. I really don't know. No one will know. What drives Ted Turner to still be in business? What drives, you know what I mean?
What are the best lessons you've learned about life in the pro wrestling business?
The best things in life are do what you're asked. Don't ask any questions, and you'll get longevity. And then when longevity does not mean forever, and when the longevity finally parts ways, have no bitterness at all. I never have said a bad word about the company.
Memories of the day WWE bought WCW.
Oh my God, scary. Scary for WCW talent. I remember Buff Bagwell coming in and they told me they don't want him to wear the hat. Oof.
We did an interview with Bagwell and he talked all about that.
About me doing that, telling him that?
I don't think he brought up your name, but he buried Jim Ross a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he didn't want to wear that. No, the company comes to me and says, we don't want the hat on him. We want it to be a different identity. I says, you can't wear the hat. He goes, that's my gimmick. I am the hat, this and that. Right away. He can't have an ego.
Yeah.
But, I don't think he thinks it wasn't me. I didn't make the decision. Don't shoot the messenger.
Memories of working, I guess what was your reaction like within the company when that all happened?
It wasn't scary for me because I knew with my job.
You were secure.
I was secure because I had more people coming in and they're going to need more help.
Do you remember working the gimmick battle royal at WrestleMania 17?
Yeah, I do. I wasn't Doink, I was Kim Chi, wasn't I?
I think so, yeah. Would you have preferred to work it as a Brooklyn Brawler?
Probably, yeah.
What led to the idea of you turning heel in New York and becoming the Boston Brawler overall?
Oh my God, that really broke my heart. But they just wrote it in like that. They wrote in where they said if you take that New York Yankees shirt off and say now you're the Boston Brawler, they're gonna start a riot. I'm telling you, that was real heat.
Did you feel like you were turning on the Yankees?
I felt like I was turning on my all of New York, all of Brooklyn.
Anybody from the Yankees organization contact you at all?
No, but I did wrestle in Florida with George Steinbrenner in the first row with his grandson with the Yankee shirt on.
Right.
I thought that was pretty cool.
Now, you said you've always wanted to work in front of the ECW crowd at the arena.
I want to work in front of there like more than ever.
You actually got to work, even though it's not the same thing. You got to work with Kurt Angle on ECW.
Yeah, but that was the
obviously.
Bootleg ECW.
Yeah, exactly.
Tomorrow's like even though it's not ECW anymore.
It was the same feel, and it's going to be the same type of crowd reaction. And
because they just like, and I asked Paul if they would like me. He says I would be a natural fit.
Oh yeah.
And Eric Bischoff told me that's going to be the perfect place for me.
Without a doubt.
I want to produce. You know what I mean? I want to. Like, what do they expect? Is it like it used to be?
It's like the same kind of fans, rabid fans, and they're really it's 1,000 smart marks.
Yeah.
So yeah, and they're definitely gonna pop for you huge. So
yeah, but I mean, they didn't want to see like you come out with a bat, like Terry Funk with the barbed wire around the bat. And
no, it's not gonna be that crazy. They don't. Yeah, they kind of toned it down a little bit.
But you could throw them outside, run them into
You're just gonna be a novelty there, and I think you're just gonna get over just on the fact that you're the Brooklyn Brawler, Steve Lombardi at the ECW arena. It's like a holy shit moment.
Because that's the same arena that Paul Lee ran.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. It's where he did all his TVs out of and everything. It's what.
It's like it's my vision quest, like that movie.
Yeah.
I got to do it.
It's gonna be awesome. Thoughts on John Cena and his work for the company? He's a machine.
John Cena's a machine. John Cena's an animal. He has a connection with the people. His work is not like Shawn Michaels, but he gets the people. He draws money.
Why do you think so many fans rejected Cena for such a long time? And what do you think fans reject Roman right now? Do Do you think it's because he was forced down their throats?
Yeah. If I force a steak in front of you, and I force a steak in front of you, and I don't want steak, leave me alone with the steak, even though the steak might be delicious. You cannot force somebody to do something that they're not ready for. They have to make the decision on their own.
Do you feel it's harder now for baby faces to be legitimate baby faces now?
Yes.
Why is that?
Because I feel that the baby faces today get forced. The same reason. I think it's a lot easier to be a heel than a baby face. How could you tell somebody to love you, but you can certainly make somebody hate you?
It's true. It's true. Do you blame the internet for that, or do you think it's just pro wrestling has lost the foundation it used to have?
I don't like the internet in general because I think the internet's a bunch of fucking geeks sitting behind their desk and they can say anything they want and then it stays there forever, even though it's not true. It's bullshit. It really is.
Well, I agree.
And we can't call them on it because they're hiding.
Yeah.
They're like these little fucking bookworms.
Exactly.
Like everybody's had things said about them, and you know damn well this wasn't true, that didn't happen, that didn't happen. But you can't tell nobody, and then there's going to be 1,000 people that say, oh yeah, but I read that.
Exactly. Trust me, I know.
Bullshit. Trust me. I know the whole deal. But it's bullshit. It really is. And I can totally relate to it. It sucks.
Favorite memories of him personally and professionally?
Famous memory of me and Undertaker is we're doing a double shot, and Vince has a private plane, and it has no door going to the pilot's what do you call that? The cockpit.
Right.
We're all drinking, we're having a good time. I go up to the pilot and says, "What's the odds on me flying this plane?" And the co-pilot goes, "Why not?" He got up, he let me sit in the seat, and the pilot goes, "Turn it every so slightly, the wheel to the right." I did, and the plane turned a little bit to the right. Then I'm ribbing Taker, Kamala Taker, and everybody. They can all see because there's no door. So I'm going like this, and I'm pretending I'm hitting the buttons and this and that. And Taker looks at me, and I look back, and he goes. And if you ask Undertaker to this day, he will tell you, Brooklyn Brawler flew an airplane with me in it.
That's awesome.
And then another great thing with him was that I got to wrestle him. Not many people could say that they faced Undertaker in the ring.
What was it like?
Oh,
Chills?
Not so much chills, like the great, like the lightest touch, the most seasoned veteran you could ever be in a ring with.
Memories of working Raw Goes Old School against Ezekiel Jackson.
Oh God, I remember that. He was a good guy. I remember the exact match too. But it was just fun to get out there again. When you don't wrestle for years and years, and then they say, "Oh, you're on Raw tonight." Wow, man, that's cool.
How excited were you when you first got your action figure?
Oh, I was pretty excited. I still have it to this day. I still sign a bunch of them. Much tomorrow, I'll probably sign about 50 to 100 of them. But Jack Specific says none of them ever sold.
When WWE debuted at the Barclays Center, you were booked as a surprise partner, teaming with The Miz. I think it was and Alberto against 3MB. Memories of that moment?
Yes, yeah.
Any memories?
God. Oh yeah, huge memories. They call me up. The office calls me up. They go, "You're going to be working at the Barclays Center," and the person that called me up, I'm not going to say his name, but he goes, "I don't know how they're going to pull this one off." That's a great thing to say to somebody, right?
Right.
But so I get to the Barclays Center and I find out it's a 6-man. It's going to be me, Miz, and Alberto against 3MB. And I say to the writers, I go, "Oh, I guess I'm doing the job as usual." They said, "No, you're going over." I went, "Oh my God." Then I got to figure out what am I going to use for a finish. So I'm practicing all these different things. They got the mats in there. I'm going to do this big ass bump on top of Ginger. What's his name?
Ginger Mahad?
You know the guy.
Yeah.
I don't know how to say his name.
Ginger Mahad, right?
Yeah, Ginger Mahad. Yeah.
Mahal.
Ginger Mahal.
Yeah.
So he's watching me do this thing, and I'm saying, "I'm not going to do this to you. I'll tell you what, I'm just going to use a Boston crab." That's what I use to this day.
Right.
I use a Boston crab. It's easy.
Yeah.
You can do it to anybody. You can do it to fat kids, skinny kids. You can do it to anybody.
Why do you think that every so often the WWE made sure to include you in moments like that? And what did that mean personally to you?
Well, it was nostalgic, first of all. They're going into Brooklyn. What are we going to give Brooklyn? First time ever in a Barclays Center. And it meant a lot to me. It freaked me out, man. All the little cameos, the garden, all these little things they did for me it was like magical, man. I loved it.
Now I got a ton.
You know what would be equivalent to that? Me walking out tomorrow with Paul.
Oh yeah, well,
Would they erupt?
oh my God, yeah, well, they would go crazy.
Oh my God,
Yeah.
Paul would never do
Paul
it.
hates going back to that building.
Does he?
Even when they did the documentary for WWE, he didn't want to do that.
Like too many memories?
He just doesn't. He just wants that to be a different part of his life.
Oh my
But
God.
I think deep down he's still, whatever.
If he ever walked out, oh God.
That'd be crazy.
He's great. I love Paul.
Yeah. I'm going to mention some names, and then I got some follow-up questions on some other stuff, and we could probably wrap it up within the next 45 minutes. But the names that I mentioned, any thoughts, any stories that come to mind? Howard Finkel.
Howard Finkel, longest, Vince's very first employee.
Good guy.
Good guy.
The Hepners.
The Hebners, I never had a problem with them. When they first came in, they were good to do the switch with the refereeing and all that kind of stuff. I never had any personal problems.
Kurt Hennig.
Kurt Hennig, I love Kurt. I had my first match in my whole life against him.
He brought you up to Portland too, because I heard that story.
Yeah. He was a ribber. One time we were in. Oh God! One time we were in. He used to stop at pet stores and buy like white mice that they would feed to like animals, like snakes and shit, and they were all dead. And he put it in everybody's pockets and in their bags and stuff. And you bring the bag home, you open up and there's dead mice in it, all stuff like that, But great guy.
The Killer Bees.
Brian and I just seen his partner
Jim Brunzell.
Jim Brunzell from Minnesota not long ago. Good guys.
Jimmy Snuka.
I love Jimmy. I shared rooms with him. I traveled with him. I had discussions with him, and yeah, he was a character.
What are your thoughts on everything that's going on right now? If you want to say, if you don't want to say.
As far as what?
The trial with him, going back.
Oh, they're already making it go away because he's got Oldtimers.
Yeah,
he doesn't even know his own name.
Yeah.
I talked to him about it. It didn't happen that way. I don't even know what they're saying. It's his wife that he marries 25, 30 years later that writes a book. And then what you do, you contradict your husband's words. It's crazy.
Coco Beware?
I was just with him. He's okay. He's a little bit, I don't know. He's got some issues, you know what I mean? Like this lawsuit thing with the concussions and all this bullshit. I mean,
Didn't the lawyers call you up and ask you to be part of that?
Who?
Didn't somebody call you up and ask you to be part of the lawsuit against WWE?
Yeah, I told him I would join it, but I'll go only on WWE's side.
Yeah.
He goes, why would you say that? I said, because you asked me to join a lawsuit without asking me if I ever had a concussion. I said, it's so frivolous. But they said, it's the same lawyers that sued the NFL. And they said, well, the NFL acted that way too, because they said, that would break the company.
Oh, yeah. Without a doubt. It would change the whole business.
But it's not true.
I know.
It's not true. And I would go on the stand, and I would tell them that Vince cared about everyone, and he certainly changed the whole procedure for testing.
With the wellness.
Yeah.
Jake Roberts.
Jake had some demons. Good guy. Every time I see him now, he hugs me and everything, but he had a lot of demons.
Out of control back in the 80s?
Not really quiet. He was like a quiet drug guy. He wasn't like a loud, obnoxious drug guy.
Were you into the party scene when you traveled?
Just drinking and stuff like that.
Sam Houston.
Oh, I seen him too. He was in jail for a couple of years, and he was okay. I like working with him. He was talented in the ring.
Owen Hart.
Oh, I loved Owen. Owen was a great guy. I worked with him as Blue Blazer. I worked with him as Owen. He used to call me Barrel Chest. And he, just a great guy.
Hercules Hernandez.
Oh my God. I'm with Hercules Hernandez in Europe, and he used to double us up in rooms and shit. And Hercules would be out all night long, come in, and I'd hear him come in, and in the morning you got to be at the bus at like 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock, and I'm getting ready. I'm saying, Herc, get up, man, get up. And I look at him. He's completely naked, pissing straight up in the bed. I'm going, oh my God. So what do? Do I go downstairs and stooge him out? No, I try to fucking sober him up. But he's saying to me, I'm not fucking, I don't care. You know, I mean, it was crazy then. But you didn't get fired back then.
Ronnie Garvin.
Ronnie Garvin was very greedy, not greedy, he took too many privileges in the ring. He would beat you up. He would
take liberties with you?
Not with me, with anybody, with any enhancement guy. He would like really be real stiff in the ring. But if he did it today, I'd beat the fuck out of him.
Tony Atlas.
Okay, he's funny, but he's way out. He's a good guy.
A little out there.
He's probably the one that's going to watch this.
Did he ever make you walk on him? No.
No, but he's got a foot fetish.
Oh, yeah.
He admits it.
Dynamite Kid and Davey Boy.
The Dynamite Kid and David Boy were good. They always took care of me in the ring, and I shared rooms with Dynamite before, and Dynamite was the one that would never get up to go to the bathroom. He would just tilt his body to the side and piss on the floor because I would hear it, like, and I knew it. It was a regular thing.
Right.
That's why I always gave him that bed.
Junkyard Dog, JYD.
I wrestled him a bunch of times. He was a good guy. He was over.
Superstar Billy Graham.
Oh, superstar. I wrestled him too when he did the karate gimmick. He was okay. He had a few issues with the company over the years, but I always liked him.
George Steele.
George Steele was okay. Wrestled him too. Michigan State Fair, 60,000 people. Throws a chair at me when I go outside, and my whole body turned black and blue from neck to the bottom.
Oh, wow.
I'm telling you, he almost killed me.
Blackjack Mulligan.
Blackjack Mulligan, didn't have many dealings with him.
Haku.
Haku wrestled him many times. Good guy.
Ricky Steamboat.
Oh, Ricky Steamboat was the man that when I was an enhancement guy, and we were doing TV in Allentown with Reading, and then Ricky comes in, and they put me with Ricky, and Ricky gives me the most competitive match. And he's the first guy to ever like really give me something in the match. And after he did that, all the other boys started doing it. So he started that. I just seen him and his son. Every one of these people that you're mentioning, I just seen.
At a convention?
Yeah.
David Sammartino.
I haven't seen him. His father and him don't get along very well. He had big shoes to fill, and I don't think he couldn't fill them.
Tito Santana.
Tito, good guy. Just seen him too. Good guy. He's a school teacher now, and his wife's got a good job. His kids became lawyers. He's doing really good. He told me, "What's your secret? You're not aging." I said, "Believe me, I'm aging."
Big Boss Man.
Big Boss Man was a good guy. He liked to smoke a little bit of reefer. He used to say, "I got a monkey on my back. I got a monkey on my back." That's what he used to say to me all the time.
Nikolai Volkov.
Good guy. I traveled with him a lot too. He used to cook in the room. He had like a hot plate, and he would cook all these meals in the room. Real good meals too.
Right. Tony Greer.
Tony Greer was a good guy. Saved his money. Guy who never got a push, but probably has more money than most of the top guys.
Brutus Beefcake.
Brutus Beefcake. I was just seeing him too. He wrote, he was with Hogan all those years, and anytime Hogan did something, he took care of Beefcake and this and that, and I got nothing against him. I had nothing good or bad to tell you about him.
Hillbilly Jim.
Great guy.
Rene Gallet.
Very old now. I seen him.
Yeah.
I seen him, man. He's like 88 or something like that.
Sid Vicious.
Oh my God, time bomb. I mean, he was to me, he was the only guy that was more impressive looking than Hogan at one point.
Yeah.
You know, he was bigger, he was taller.
1991.
It was just if he would just do business, he would have been a multimillionaire today.
Without a doubt. Tatanka.
Tatanka's a great guy.
Kevin Nash.
Oh, I love Kevin Nash. He just turned me on to these Timothy Beale kid, and I'm going to do movies with him because of Kevin Nash. Kevin's doing 3 of them with him now.
Bam Bam Bigelow.
He was a good guy. I like Bam Bam.
Savio Vega.
Savio Vega. When he came in, everybody was like, he's going to be the biggest thing ever when we see Savio Vega. And I looked at him, I said, I don't know. I don't see the look, but good guy.
Lex Luger.
Just seen him too. He's in a wheelchair now. He was very more into bodybuilding probably than he was into wrestling. But he found God. You know what I mean? I didn't know God was lost. And don't find God when something goes wrong. I'm not knocking Lex. Right. I'm just saying, I like people that if they're going to be religious before the bad thing happens.
Chris Benoit.
Chris was a very religious person, and his wife Nancy had surgery. She had like a fused disc in her neck or something like that, and I called him up and I said, Chris, just checking on Nancy, making sure she's okay. And he called me back and he goes, you touched my heart. He goes, you cared enough to call my house about my wife and this and that. So then when he didn't show up that night, I kept calling his phone. And I said to myself, oh my God, now I'm going to be on record.
Right.
You know what I mean?
What are your thoughts on that whole
I don't know. He never failed a drug test. He never failed. And the drug test ain't a work.
Right.
I mean, because it's an independent drug testing company. It's a publicly traded company. They're not going to allow that. They're not going to let people get away with it.
Edge.
Edge is a good guy.
Eddie Guerrero.
Eddie Guerrero. Good guy, hothead, then becomes then a loving guy.
Oh,
He worked ECW?
He worked ECW and Ring of Honor. Yeah.
Yeah. Talent. His expressions alone.
Bubba and Devon?
Oh, I love Bubba and Diva.
X-Pac?
I love X-Pac. One of my favorite opponents of all time.
Memories of working your last match for the company against Ryback.
Oh my God, that was all off of the 6-man, and then the day after Vince was kind of ribbing me over the whole thing. You know what I mean?
Right.
And then there's a whole story behind that I'm saving for the book. But the next day they put me with Ryback, and then Ryback had the ultimate respect. Did you see the match?
Yeah.
Ryback sold his ass off for me.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? He didn't squash me.
What was the key to having longevity in WWE?
I don't think there's any specific answer to having longevity. Just be a good person, be a good-hearted person, and just do what you're told to do. It's not that hard. It really isn't.
So pretty much you went to the company and you asked for your release? They didn't?
No comment.
Okay. Oh, that's right. Okay. There are some rumors that why you really left the company or whatever.
That's internet gossip again.
Right. Something about the Taz show or something like that. You had heat for calling that Taz show.
That's one of those internet people.
Not true then. Okay.
Not true.
CM Punk. Thoughts on Punk?
I like Punk. I just watched a video with you and Punk.
Which one?
The one where these two guys came up to him and they were interrupting his conversation with you or some shit like that.
I think he slapped me or something, pushed me or something like that.
I just watched that not long ago.
Yeah, it was Ring of Honor.
I think Punk was a good guy. He made his money and he just got sick of it.
Yeah. What do you think about him getting involved with UFC?
I think it was a brilliant move because he knew what did he make, $360,000 and an extra $60 for wearing a logo or some shit. I think he's smart. I would do it. I'll go in there for that kind of money. They just won't pay it.
So now what are you doing after the WWE deal? Pretty much doing...
I'm working more now than I did then. I'm doing better now than I did then. I'm doing indies. I'm doing... there's a territory that's opening up in Michigan. I live in Michigan, so what we're doing is the guy who owns the company in Michigan, he's got a backer, a doctor, who's going to give him like $150,000 to put into the company.
Right.
Only if I run it. So I got to do the finishes. I got to do the payoffs. I got to bring the talent in. So what do? First day in, I completely fire 3 people that I find out they're stealing, and then and now what I'm doing is I'm cutting the budget. I'm creating stars instead of paying this guy $3,000 to come in.
Yeah, that's
crazy. You can't do it.
How has pro wrestling changed on that level from when you broke into the business?
As far as the indies now?
Yeah, totally different, right?
Yeah, but it's great because I got so much knowledge, you know what I mean? I could go into the indies now and I could, that's why I'm so excited about tomorrow too, because Bubba and them told me this is such a great run show, you know what I mean? So I want to see how you guys operate because I want to bring this all home to UCW.
Do you think WWE might put you in the Hall of Fame one day?
Nah, I don't know. I doubt it because I think they look at titles and belts and things like that, and but you never know.
They have some actors and stuff like Pete Rose.
Yeah, well, that's a celebrity. Yeah. The celebrity wing. They put Coco in there. You know.
Any regrets when it comes to your time in WWE?
No regrets.
You never really went out and worked other territories such as NWA or AWA back in the day. Why was that? And did you not regret spreading your wings beyond WWE, or were you just happy being?
Well, the people that did that either got released or let go. I was just there forever. But I did wrestle in Memphis a couple of times. I wrestled in Japan 4 times.
Beyond Hugh Jackman, any favorite celebrity interactions?
Oh yeah, Trump. I got along good with Trump. I got along good with Florence Henderson. I got along good with, there was so many of them. The Southern guy, the comedian, what the hell is his name? I forget his name now.
I don't remember.
Slipped my mind. You'll know him. You know who he is. He does all the comedy acts. He talks Southern. He did a movie with Santino.
Did you remember? Yeah, I don't remember.
Whatever. It don't matter.
What is your advice for talents trying to get into the company?
Oh, trying to get a company now?
Trying to get into the company.
Get cardiovascular fit. Be in the best shape of your life because they will destroy you.
That's what Billy Gunn said too.
Oh my God, they will take you to the limit. Like you see these shows, like these ninja shows. Endurance, and then after you're all blown up and you can't take it anymore, then we're just going to start. But they're trying to weed out the ones that don't want it. The ones that want it, will make it.
Would you ever want to return there one day?
To where? WWE?
Yeah, or you pretty much
No. Why would I?
been there, done that.
Been there, done that. Moving on, doing great now.
What was your favorite cities to visit or arenas to perform in?
I love the Barclays Center. I love Madison Square Garden. I love that I wrestled in Wembley Arena. I love that I wrestled in Royal Albert Hall in London. I love that I wrestled all over Australia. I love that I wrestled in India. I love that I wrestled in Kuwait. I've wrestled everywhere.
So many guys are banged up from their time on the road and the bumps that they have taken. How are you feeling these days physically?
Physically, I'm in better shape now than when I was 25.
Wow. You had, neck surgery over a decade ago?
Yeah, I had minimally invasive neurosurgery through my throat and my neck, and I had 2 lower back minimally invasive surgeries. But they were all like you're in the gym the next day.
It's crazy. That's a new surgery, right?
Yeah.
What's the best and worst thing about not being on the WWE road schedule anymore?
The best thing about not being on the WWE work schedule is I got all the knowledge, and I brought it with me, and it's working for me. It's really, I love it. That was the best thing. The worst thing about not being WWE, there is no worst thing, but I'm just saying I can't think of an answer for that. If I didn't take the knowledge with me, that would have been terrible. If I never had the mind to develop the knowledge from the WWE and grow with it, but they don't even realize what they did. They taught me everything.
All right.
They taught me everything.
Anyone you wish that you could have wrestled that you never had a chance to wrestle?
I never wrestled Cena. That would have been fun. I can't remember. I kind of wrestled everybody.
Yeah, pretty much. From A to Z, Abby to Zabisco. What message would you like to send to your fans who have watched and supported you over the years?
The message I'd like to send to my fans who watched me over the years is thank you. I appreciate it all, and it's not over. Look for me in the movies, read my book, and watch where I go.
In closing, what message would you like to personally send to the McMahon family?
I would send them, if I had to send a message to the McMahon families, I would say thank you very much. I appreciate everything that your entire family has done for me. I have no ill feelings towards your family. You've gave me 32 years of employment. I have no bitterness. I will never say a bad word about the company. And just thank you. Thank you for the memories.